Why it's illegal to take pictures of the Eiffel Tower at night. Hi, everybody. You might have dreamed of visiting Eiffel Tower once, but did you know that by releasing night pictures of it, you could be violating French law? Before jumping into the video, let's talk about some Eiffel Tower facts you probably didn't know. And make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button to never ever miss any updates from us. The Eiffel Tower, or as the French call it, La Tour Eiffel, is one of the world's most recognizable landmarks. It is so well known that it has become the symbol not only of Paris but of France as a whole. It never fails to dazzle, especially when 20,000 light bulbs are turned on. The Eiffel Tower was originally built by Gustave Eiffel, a bridge builder, architect, and metals specialist. In the early 1880s, Eiffel also worked on the Garabit Viaduct, a bridge in the massive central area that was the tallest bridge in the world. Prior to obtaining the World's Fair contract, he worked on the Statue of Liberty design. One of Eiffel's employees, senior engineer Maurice Coquelin, was the tower's principal designer. Engineer Émile Nouguier and Stephen Souvest, head of the company's architectural department, were also consulted. After seeing Coquelin's original designs, which Eiffel thought were too minimalistic, the architect told him to incorporate more details and touches in his design. In 1884, Eiffel approved the final design. The project required a lot of metals as well as a lot of manpower. From 1887 to 1889, 300 steel workers worked for 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days to build the tower. More than 18,000 separate metallic components, 2.5 million rivets, and 40 tons of paint were used. Upon the completion in March 1889, the tower measured 300 meters high, which is 985 feet. Surprisingly, its measurement is not constant. Cold weather can cause the towers to shrink up to 6 inches. For 41 years, the Eiffel Tower was the tallest structure in the world until it was overtaken by the Chrysler Building in New York, which stands at 1,046 feet. Only a year later, with the addition of the spire, the Empire State Building became the tallest building in the world at 1,454 feet. An antenna was installed to the tower in 1957, increasing its height by 67 feet, making it 6 feet taller than the Chrysler Building. But this epic masterpiece draws almost 7 million tourists every year from all around the world who come to see the tower and take photographs. Its image may be seen in innumerable guidebooks, online journals, and stunning Instagram photos. However, you probably aren't aware that media outlets rarely release photos of the tower at night. The lights on the Eiffel Tower complicate the copyright. The restriction is based on French copyright law, which provides exclusive ownership to the original creator of an object for its sale and distribution. Structures are classified with the same precision that artistic items are in a museum. In the European Union, copyright law is valid for 70 years after the creator's death. Some countries are more lenient, like Pakistan, where copyright law is valid for 50 years. In others, it is longer, such as Jamaica, where it is valid for 95 years. Eiffel, who owned the tower's copyright, died in 1923. Therefore, it expired 70 years later in 1993. At this point, the tower's likeness and design were allowed to join the public domain, which is why a copy erected in 1999 may be found in Las Vegas. The lights on the Eiffel Tower, on the other hand, were erected by Pierre Bidou in 1985, which means that any shot or film that displays the monument at a time when the lights are visible, that is, at night, is a violation of copyright law. In France, there is no broad freedom of panorama. Thus, a photograph of the illuminated Eiffel Tower can only be released with permission. But what is freedom of panorama? Panorama freedom allows photographers to film buildings, artworks, sculptures, paintings, or monuments in social places even if they're still protected by copyright. In France, limited freedom of panorama for works of architecture and sculpture has been in effect since October 7, 2016. Reproductions and representations of works of architecture and sculpture put permanently in public spaces and created by genuine individuals with the prohibition of any commercial usage according to French law. Tourists are permitted to take images and films of copyrighted buildings for personal use under this regulation as long as there is no financial profit linked. The regulation has the greatest impact on professional photographers trying to sell their images, but it also applies to every traveler and their innocent vacation photos. Distribution is defined as everything posted on social media sites. If you take photographs of French buildings or street art and they become available in France, including through social media or a website, a French court can claim jurisdiction. In principle, violators of this regulation might face a fine. This is applicable even if you live in a nation where the freedom of panorama applies, such as the United Kingdom. You can still be sued in the United Kingdom under French law. The protection of building architectural designs is a rising trend, with comparable regulations in place for other important sites in Europe. The Atomium sculpture, a famous Brussels landmark in neighboring Belgium, is strictly protected by copyright. In Copenhagen, authorization is required to publish images of the iconic Little Mermaid monument, whereas the European Parliament is under protection in Strasbourg. There are also restrictions surrounding Rome's 2,000 years old Colosseum. The situation differs greatly across Europe. While some nations have various regulations depending on the cultural artifact, others, such as Greece and Italy, have no panorama freedom at all, as we don't want you to end up in any trouble. So be aware of the rules and regulations before visiting any country. As always, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next episode. God bless you all.